The Middle East is often quiet at night, but history has a way of moving precisely when the world is asleep. What is happening in Iran right now is not being shown clearly anywhere, and that is exactly why it matters. While most of the world sleeps, the country is once again cutting itself off from the outside world. Internet access has been shut down, communications restricted, airports partially closed, and diplomats quietly evacuated. These are not routine security measures. Historically, when a regime disconnects an entire nation, it signals preparation for something far more serious. The question now dominating intelligence briefings is unsettling. Is Iran approaching its most dangerous geopolitical moment in decades? Understanding the Iran crisis has become extraordinarily difficult because information itself is now a weapon. Satellite signals are jammed, footage is censored or instantly discredited, and social media is flooded with manipulated or AI-generated content. We are living in an era where truth competes with algorithms. Even experienced geopolitical analysts are forced to operate in uncertainty. And history shows that moments of maximum confusion are often when irreversible decisions are made. For decades, Iran projected itself as an untouchable regional power. That perception is now collapsing. The so-called axis of resistance has been systematically weakened. Hamas has been devastated, Hezbollah severely degraded, Syrian influence reduced, and Iranian-backed militias across the region have lost operational capacity. For the first time in generations, Tehran is strategically isolated. Even more damaging, when Iran itself faced direct pressure, it failed to respond decisively. Once deterrence credibility is lost, the entire balance of power shifts, and adversaries take notice. But external pressure alone does not topple regimes. History is clear on this point. Collapse requires internal conditions to align: economic breakdown, loss of ideological legitimacy, fractures within the elite, and a population willing to challenge authority. In Iran, these conditions are converging. Inflation has eroded purchasing power, the currency has lost credibility, and fear is no longer as effective as it once was. Increasingly, ordinary Iranians are asking a dangerous question. Why should an entire nation suffer for an ideological project that offers no tangible future? Internationally, Iran's position has rarely been weaker. Russia and China, often described as strategic partners, remained notably silent when Tehran faced pressure. There was no coordinated defense, no meaningful deterrent response. That silence sent a clear message: Iran stands alone. At the same time, global norms are eroding. International law is weaker, restraint is fading, and power politics has returned. In this environment, striking Iran is no longer unthinkable. It is openly debated in policy circles. Militarily, the United States possesses overwhelming options. Submarines, long-range bombers, regional bases, and cyber capabilities allow for precise strikes without full-scale war. But the objective would likely not be regime change. More plausibly, it would be shock, degrading key capabilities while amplifying internal instability. Modern conflict is increasingly psychological. Sometimes the goal is not to destroy a system, but to let it collapse under its own weight. Israel faces a strategic dilemma of its own. While it views the Iranian regime as an existential threat, it also understands the risks of what might follow a collapse. A post-theocratic Iran dominated by hardline military factions could be even more unpredictable. There is also the danger of nuclear materials falling into uncontrolled hands. Removing an enemy is one challenge. Managing the chaos that follows is another. Artificial intelligence has further transformed this conflict. Deepfake videos, synthetic speeches, and manipulated protest footage allow regimes to dismiss real unrest as fabricated. Truth itself becomes unstable. In the digital age, even reality must fight to be believed, and that fundamentally changes how revolutions unfold. We may now be entering a new geopolitical era, not one of dramatic regime change, but of regime management. Iran may not fall overnight, but its leadership is aging, succession is unclear, legitimacy is eroding, and the system that sustained it for decades is slowly decaying. The end may not be immediate, But the trajectory appears increasingly irreversible. If Iran changes, the consequences will extend far beyond its borders. The balance of power in the Middle East, global energy markets, and the broader world order would all be affected. History rarely announces itself clearly. It moves quietly, until suddenly it does not.